Right, what's going on guys? Big welcome to you all to our channel. We are Team Crushing the Meta and I'm D-Boy. I'm bringing you back a video, a deck, a unit, an era. Well, as you can see, I'm way too excited to make this video. The thing is, Bushiroad announced that we will have a Momoro and Ju coming back with BladeMaster, as we can see from the first picture on the left. The other two pictures covered up Leon Soyu and Uru that played Maelstrom and Bladewings. But the most important thing, in my opinion, in this whole thing is that we are getting units from the G era back in the V series. Those units, those grade 3s, represented the clans in that era. We had BladeMaster, we had Altmao, we had Charlotte, we had Darkface, we had Rising, we had all of those Fenrir, all of those grade 3s that represented the clans, and they are coming back. Will they have a stride skill? Will they introduce stride again? Will they have markers on them? What will they do? So, because now we have BladeMaster, we could already talk about this card, and this does make it clear. So, they do not have anything with stride, they are just grade 3s, they have the markers. So this BladeMaster is a grade 3, it has wind drive, it has the marker, it is a flame dragon, which is important, so you could use it with the premium deck as well. Also because it has a marker, but just because you could also get it back to your hand with Kouen skill, so that's important. And it has two abilities. First of all, it introduced a new mechanic to Kagura, which is a vision token, but we'll talk about that in a minute. The first skill is a combination between the old BladeMaster and BladeMaster Kouen skill. Like Kouen got his skill off if your opponent has no rear guards, and BladeMaster had his skill off. It's a GB2 ability. If you have more rear guards than your opponent, he gets an extra 5k in a crit. So what this card does is getting the extra 5k in a crit by having your opponent has no rear guard on the field. So that's good. It's an interesting ability. I could see it work in premium. I don't know how this would work in standard, but it does work great with his second ability, which is an act once per turn if you have the grade 1 and a grade 2. So the grade 2 is Doha and the grade 1 is Gardan. If you have both of them on the field, then you could Soul Blast 1, which is a grade 3, so this is your second right target, and then you discard 2 cards from your hand, retire all of your opponent's rear guards, and you call a vision token to the rear guard circle, and until end of turn, retire it. So the vision token is a grade 3. It has 13k power, as you can see right here. It has crits 1, and it could perform twin drive even on the rear guard circle. This is important. So you cannot have this card in your deck, it's just an extra token, the same as Neo Nectar, but this card on the rear guard circle could perform twin drive when is attacking. So that's important. But going back at the BladeMaster, looking at the art, it looks more like Kouen, so the second grade 3 from BladeMaster, but in general it has the same art as the normal BladeMasters, like the Stride or the grade 3s, which is amazing. Now we also have 2 support cards, which is Doha and Garan. Those were the grade 2 and a grade 1, that's were the 10k and 8k from that era, because we got that as well. Almost every clan got like a grade 2, 10k, and a grade 1, 8k, which did not have a skill, but they were just there as more of a body. And at least, not the start, but let's say mid-G era, a lot of people started playing those 10k grade 2s into their deck. Also some of the grade 1 8ks. But enough about that, let's talk about his skill. How good is this in standard and how good is this in premium? Well, in premium you cannot really use his second and first ability. The first one maybe if you ride him first, but because normally you will stride, so you will not be using those abilities. But it's good that it has marker and has the BladeMaster name, and it is just a flame dragon, so you could add to your hand with Kouen, so that's good. how good is this in standard? Well, yes, I could see people say, yeah, but if you don't have the grade 1 and the grade 2, then this does not do a lot. And we also have a card that it's named a Promise Daughter, and we have a card that has resist, or have a card that cannot be retired. We have that in Oracle Think Tank. We also have that in Great Nature. Well, yes, you do have that, but it doesn't matter, because his first skill, by getting the extra 5k in a crit, is not the most important skill right here. It's that you could retire all of your opponent's regards and you get the token. But even if you retire like 2 and leave 1 on the field, because it's a unit that cannot be retired, or it has a kind of a form of resist, because this card could work around resist because it doesn't target. But let's say you cannot retire it, then it still doesn't matter. You already have retired some regards and you're already getting your twin drive. So you discarded 2, retired everything, and you get your twin drive. You get an extra unit with twin drive, so you're plussing 1. Yeah, I think it's amazing. It's an amazing card. I'm very excited to use, and one of the most important things as well, I didn't talk about that yet, it's a triple rare. Guys, this is a triple rare. Do you understand what this means? This means that BladeMaster is getting the attention that he needs. He is becoming one of the main grade 3s, even in the V era. Why is this important? Because I hope that we will see more of these units making a comeback. At one point or another, the V era and the G era will have to come to the same timeline, let's say. They will have to introduce those players back, and I'm excited to see Rising. Yes, I'm also excited to see Charlotte. I'm excited to see all of them actually, and what they will do. Looking at this card, they will stay close to what they normally did, but in a kind of a different way. Also, it's nice that they have the markers and that they come in a high rarity. It's very important for me. Alright, so we already covered this. Let's go to the grade 2s. Grade 2 and then the grade 1. So first of all, when placed, we have Doha right here, the grade 2. Something that is interesting about this card is that it is a 9k, not a 10k, just a 9k. That's interesting in my opinion. When placed, you count +1, you search your deck for the grade 1, you call it to rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. Second ability is a continuous ability. Whenever this card attacks, if your opponent has no rearguards, then your opponent cannot call normal units from his or her hand. So the biggest issue with this deck is Oracle Think Tank. But again, if you're playing Oracle Think Tank and you're going for Protect 2, because that does work against decks like, let's say Waterfall, then this card could get rid of that extra Interceptor, or the units that you have on that circle, except if it's a unit that it cannot be retired, which is a pain in the ass in this deck. But yeah, how good is this card? Well, first of all, it's another high rare card. The second thing is, it could cost you the grade 1. So combining this with BladeMaster, you already have your combo. You already have everything you need. Downside is that you could lose those combo pieces. If you don't get them to your hand, the deck will kind of fall apart because you need them. And the second ability is good, that you cannot use normal units to guard. Well, it's not a big thing because normally your opponent will guard with triggers anyway, but if you poke them with those small irritating attacks, sometimes they want to intercept or just use a grade 1 or something from their hand to guard, but that cannot be used because you cannot use normal units. Such an interesting ability. The only thing that I could not understand is why is this card only 9k, maybe because it has an ability that could call, but if anybody knows, just let me know. And last but not least, we have the grade 1. The grade 1 has a continuous ability. During your turn, if your opponent has no rearguards, this unit gets an extra 5k. It's good. I mean, we're already talking about that the skills that if your opponent has no rearguards will not always go off, but having the extra 5k is pretty cool. And then when they attack, so when this card boosts the grade 2, and the grade 2 hits, you could Counterblast 1, draw a card, and Soul Charge 1. This card doesn't really have to boost that grade 2 for that attack. It's just when the grade 2 hits, you could Counterblast 1 to draw a card and Soul Charge. It's interesting that you could Soul Charge right here, because that could mean that you could Soul Charge a grade 3, and with that you already have the grade 3 in your soul, so you don't really have to rewrite. But I think the most important thing that they're trying to do here is they're trying to make or remake some of the skills back for BladeMaster, like the draw engine. They're trying to give it back, but also some Soul Charge is cool. I think that both these, the grade 1 and the grade 2, are very good support for the grade 3, and most important thing is they are bringing BladeMaster back, and with a very nice, neat ability, especially the token. It looks amazing, and I think it's pretty cool new mechanic to add to Kagura. So that's it for this video. I would like to thank you guys for all the love and the support. Don't forget to go to our Facebook group, YouTube channel, subscribe to our channel, and click that notification button so you could know whenever we make a new video. Stay tuned for more Crushing the Meta. Until next time.